When I was young, my dad wanted me to play for the All Blacks. I think most Pacific Islander parents dream for their son to play rugby and then maybe get imported into Australia or maybe make the big team as like the All Blacks. And then at the age of 4 months old, I contracted meningitis, which resulted in them amputating my right hand and little bits of my left hand. My parents always had that dream ever since I was born. When I had this, everything changed. I just want to live life. I don't want to be the stereotypical disabled person staying in the house doing nothing, relying on a benefit. I want to get out, meet people, do things, just enjoy my life while I'm here.
My name is Barney. I want people to see me and see, wow, he's in a wheelchair, look what he can do. Not, wow, look, he's in a wheelchair, look what he can't do.
I got meningitis when I was 4 months old. I was always in and out of the hospital when I was a kid.
Yeah, I had a bit of my fingers amputated and my whole arm, because if they didn't amputate it, then it would just keep on spreading upwards.
But there were all sorts of complications, and they had to chop my left leg off when I was 10. 3 years later, they took my right leg. I've learned that I can become more independent. I can do things myself. I'm a recent graduate of Auckland University of Technology, graduated with a Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Business double degree, with a double major in economics and marketing. I was a typical teenager, chasing girls instead of chasing grades. It was year 11 when I had to knuckle down. I told myself, well, there's only 2 years left. You got to leave. You got to get into university. Otherwise, my parents would be giving me the little island slap. My parents pretty much stuck up for me when I was a kid. They had the choice to put me up for adoption, but they didn't, even though the entire family was telling them to. My parents stuck by me. I made a promise to myself that by the age of 55, 56, my parents will never have to work again. I'll look after them. Although I can't get back to them physically by doing the hard labor that people expect me to do, I'll get back to them by graduating university, which I did, finding a stable job and providing for them and looking after them during the years of while they get older.
I'm a proud mama because, you know, I keep telling Barney, go to school, study hard, have an education. He's a humble boy, good boy.
At a young age, I've always relied on mum and dad to do my things for me. I think my independence started when I started playing rugby. When I told my parents that there was a sport like rugby but in a wheelchair, they were happy. I didn't expect to make the rugby team on my second year. When I saw people who had higher disabilities than I did do things more independently, that really changed my perspective on life and made me more independent. I saw them transferring in and out of their cars, supplying for their families, pretty much doing things that I asked my parents and my family members to do for me. I remember my first training, I got thrown into the sin bin straight away because I went for the ball and I didn't know that you weren't allowed to touch the body, it was only the ball. I ended up moving a guy's hand and I just shoved him and I took the ball off him. And then everyone looked at me, because he fell out of his chair, everyone looked at me like, what the hell am I doing? When I was young, when I did things, I didn't think of the consequences. Whereas now, I'm more careful with my approach. There was a time where I ran with the wrong crowd. I did stupid things, and a few people that I used to run with back then, I always took part in the petty crimes that they were doing. Most people look at it as gangs, but I look at them as my family. I guess that's what society doesn't really understand. These are the guys that I grew up with. these are the guys that stood up for me when I didn't have a voice. When I was getting scoped out or bullied by other people, these are the boys that stood in and took the guys on for me. Growing up as kids, my parents were both immigrants. At a young age, nobody looked out for us. In the Samoan culture, disability is very looked down upon. If your child has a disability, then they immediately think, oh, well, they're useless. They can't do anything around the house because Samoan parents rely on their kids to do the chores, to do the lawns and do everything else. And I couldn't really do anything. My mum always told me not every Samoan are the same. There are a lot of Samoan people, just like everyone in this world, not everyone is the same. In 2013, I went to Samoa because I wanted to visit families that had children living with disabilities. I wanted to experience firsthand how people with disabilities were being treated over there. My parents were both born in Samoa, but this is only my second trip here. I attract a lot of attention. Just having the people stare at me and give me that funny look. You don't see much disabled people going around the city. And maybe that also comes down to the history of Samoa, where being disabled brings shame to your family. I'm pretty sure I can change the minds of a couple of people, like thinking positive towards disability instead of negative. You don't want to sound like a typical little show-off coming to tell people what to do, like in their own country. We take everything for granted back in New Zealand. We don't even know what we have. So you can't really come here and be a show-off and tell them what to do and all that. Today, I'm doing 2 school visits. I want to see how disabled kids are educated in Samoa. When I go teaching, my goal is to inspire the kids with a disability and to educate the able kids about disability. I expect to wow the crowd. First of all, I just want to talk to them about, being themselves, obviously. Accepting who they are and accepting comments from other people. I think I can touch base on how I live my life and how they can do it as well. If I can do it, you can do it. I had to get the toothbrush from reception because I forgot mine. Loto Tamawhai was the first school in Samoa for students with disabilities. Before it opened in 1981, most disabled kids didn't go to school. All right, we might need to go the other way. It's too rocky down here. Loto Tamawhai. Let's do it. Man, if my family had stayed here, this would have been my school. You thought that in this kind of school it will be more suitable for kids with disabilities, like ramps more safe and entrance to doors more width. Just imagine if you get a person in a wheelchair like extra large and you can't get into the door.
We're doing everything in the best we can just to support. Despite their disability that they have, they should have a positive thinking about themselves. We're also feeding the students from Monday to Friday. And also this school is a fee school, so students are not paying any fee. Disability, it's not inability.
There's about 140 kids crammed in here.
They have a huge range of disabilities, but they're just all taught together.
I had a speech prepared, but I had massive words in it. And then now seeing the crowd, I had to think of it on the spot now.
The teachers really care about the kids, but I don't see how teachers can support each of them.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we today? That's good. Like my team said, my name is Barney Koneferenisi and I come from New Zealand. It is a privilege to come and see you today. I just want you guys to know that everyone in this room is special. Growing up with a disability has really opened my mind to how to adapt with life. So how do I get up the stairs? How do I walk around? And how do I cope with people looking at me? I love people looking at me. I don't even care. That's their problem. If they want to look at me, they can look at me.
Outside of Apia, most children with disabilities still don't go to school. I'm going to university, but that's not an option for them. They get taught carving. I guess that leads to a job.
This is amazing.
We noticed that there are students that will not be able to continue with the academic program, so we decided to form after establish this educational to be able to cater with the needs. That's why we have a vocational, so that to teach them different skills to be able to be independent in the future.
Because more kids with disabilities are now going to school here, they need a bigger building.
The construction should be started in June, so which is next month. And it's gonna take 18 months.
Today, everyone can go to the school nearest their village with their brothers and sisters and cousins. Every Samoan has heaps of cousins. Donna Lene came to Samoa as a young teacher. She discovered how much the kids needed her and never left.
Today we're going to take you out to Sanapu village, which is a rural village. We're working with 65 primary schools now in Samoa that are including children with disabilities in their own village. So it's steps forward. Samoa's not doing too bad.
Pretty full on, isn't it?
Yeah. The principal is inspirational. He's sort of, these are Sanapu kids, so they belong in Sanapu school.
This whole area was wiped out by a cyclone 2 years ago. The Japanese helped rebuild the school, but there was no money left for ramps and footpaths.
This isn't really wheelchair friendly, is it?
It's hard for a kid with a disability to even get to the school.
One, two, three.
Liana Fisilafa Lauvi is the principal here and wants all the kids to get an education.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for the kids as we are running the inclusive education here. So whoever in the school, yeah, we have the same opportunity to learn. Yeah, those kids with special needs and the kids who are healthy or whatever. So it's very good to be with Barney today. Yeah, and to feel that whoever has a special need, she or he can do anything.
One, I got two. Talofa. Like me, I love little kids. And when I just look at those little kids and their innocent eyes are just looking at you, it just warms my heart. And then I think to myself, I want to teach these kids. One day I want to be teaching kids like this.
There are now 3 children with disabilities at the school. One is blind, one's deaf, and sitting down at the back of the classroom is Sally. She has cerebral palsy.
Sweetie, vier kos apa? Dua. Lima kosong. Makua, oh ya. Mangai lo. Pare lau ma. Mangai. You're feeling here. Feeling here, oi. Oh, ow.
Sally only has a second-hand pushchair to get around in, if she finds someone to push her.
How old is Sally?
She's 6.
And she's riding this.
Well, I know it's the age not appropriate, but because we haven't got anything available here, this is the only thing that's able to help Mum from lifting her around, because Mum's carried her for 6 years. It's getting too much.
But also thinking of I know this is the only thing they can get, but
For now, yeah.
But just thinking of the grounds that Samoa has and the stuff that this cannot go on, like gravel. How can this get on gravel?
It doesn't.
Tuli Fotulupe is blind. He wants to be a radio announcer. His cousins are here at the school with him. But until recently, he had to drive an hour and a half each day to a special school in Apia.
All we can ask for from people is put in money, at least help to fix a school. Because these kids are the future, and how can the kids get a bright future if you can't give them a bright school?
I've been invited to visit Sally's house. She's the 5-year-old with cerebral palsy I met at Sanapu School.
And so it's a bit to do more with phonics. They're so used to letting her sit on the floor. Mum used to say, oh, she can't use her legs anymore, so what's the point? We need the parents to really, feel comfortable with what they're doing. You could probably help us on that too, because traditional ways is good, but they also need to keep an open mind.
I think that again come down to the way it is seen in Samoa. If you had a kid with a disability, there's no point of even trying with that kid. I think the parents, the mum and dad, are trying with the kids, but I don't think they have the support. Hopefully I can shine some rainbows in there. Sally's family pretty much lost everything in the cyclone 2 years ago. Sally's little brother Tito has a disability too. He doesn't talk because of a malformed mouth, but no one's sure what to do about it. And there's grandfather to be cared for. I might need to hop out and just walk it, and then one of you might just need to carry the chair over. Okay. That's okay?
No worries.
Sweet. Yeah. Man, Sally can't even get in or out of her house without being carried. She relies on other people for everything. What happens as she gets older?
There's a will, there's a way.
Mako mai ngiu sila. Yung mako mai vai lo. You vai Sally. Vai be how she lived her life in Samoa, and see what she doesn't have and what she does have and what we can do to help her.
As Sally's growing up, she has had what was like a stroke, and it's caused difficulty for her to use her limbs, her legs, especially on the left-hand side from the arm down. So over the years, her life has been very dependent on Mum supporting her. Sally wants to go to preschool. She wants to go to school. And so she won't stop her. She'll take her.
Yeah, she'll pretty much nag her mum until mum takes her to preschool.
Yeah.
Which is a good attitude to have. Like, you have to stay positive if you want to do this stuff.
She wants the best for Sally and a better chair as she grows
just
older.
to support her around and out of the house as well.
I guess with this opportunity of like meeting you, Barney, it's also opening an opportunity for Sally and all our children who have disabilities, and it's so important to the awareness, and so that's what's been happening for the last few years in regards to helping our people understand that people with disabilities can.
Sally does have an old wheelchair, but it's completely useless for these conditions. She needs a new one. So instead of having straight, thick ones, we could have solid rubber wheels on the back of the chair. So when you lean back,
Yes.
the wheels go smoothly on the rocks.
Oh, okay.
Like I took mine off because I didn't need them anymore.
Oh, okay.
But mine were plastic, so they ripped easier. But
Yeah.
I think like thick, solid tires rubber for anti-tips would be a great idea to go over the rocks. You see how this chair has width over here?
Yeah,
And it's more spacious as well. You see how she's more stable in this one than when she was sitting in her in that chair because if Mum pushes her. I should just give this one to her. Eh? I'll walk to the airport. People with disability in Samoa, their confidence gets affected quite badly. I don't blame kids or adults with disabilities if they're not confident enough in this country because there's not much support for them to get confident.
When we did get home, it made me more grateful. Coming home and seeing the stuff that I had made me more emotional. What my parents always told me was be grateful for what you have because other people don't have it. Although you don't have things that your friends have, just look at the things you have because you don't know, maybe somewhere across the world people are trying to get that. And when we went to Samoa, that's exactly what we experienced. I met a lot of lovely people that did look after a lot of people with disabilities. And I guess that really changed my outlook on the Samoan culture.